I never expected to be in this position, sitting across from my sister's boyfriend, ex-boyfriend now. While he nursed a whiskey in my dimly lit apartment, I realized that family loyalty had never been so complicated. Ethan wasn't just another guy my sister dated. He had been around for years, practically family himself. When he showed up at my door at midnight, looking like he had just walked out of a car crash, I knew something was wrong. But I wasn't prepared for what he told me. "She cheated on me," he said, voice raw. I leaned back in my chair, trying to process the words. My sister, Sarah, had always been the golden child, the responsible one, the one who had it together. I wasn't naive enough to think she was perfect, but this was something else entirely. "Are you sure?" It felt stupid to ask, but it was all I could think of. Ethan gave me a look that made me feel like an idiot. "I caught her, dude, in our apartment, with some guy I've never even seen before." He laughed bitterly, running a hand through his already messy hair. She didn't even try to deny it, just stared at me like I was an inconvenience. Damn, I had seen Ethan angry before, but this was different. This wasn't just rage. It was betrayal wrapped in exhaustion. And the worst part? I didn't know what to say. "I don't even know why I'm here," Ethan muttered, shaking his head. "Maybe because I knew you'd understand. Maybe because I needed to hear you say it's okay to burn her whole world down." That got my attention. "What do you mean?" Ethan looked up at me, and for the first time, I saw something dangerous in his eyes. "I want revenge, and I want your help." I should have shut it down right there. I should have told him to cool off, to sleep on it, to be the bigger person. But the truth was I was pissed too. Sarah had put me in an impossible position, and I wasn't sure I wanted to be the bigger person. "What kind of revenge are we talking?" I asked carefully. Ethan smirked, but there was no humor in it. "Nothing illegal. Nothing that'll get us arrested. But I want her to feel what I felt. I want her to lose something she cares about." I hesitated. "And you think I can help?" "You're her brother," he pointed out. "You know her better than anyone. You know what would hurt her." The worst part? He wasn't wrong. Sarah had always been protective of her image. She cared what people thought. The idea of people seeing her as anything less than perfect would kill her. And Ethan knew it. I rubbed my face, thinking, if we do this, we have to be smart. We can't just throw her secrets out there and hope for the best. I never said we would. Ethan leaned forward, resting his elbows on his knees. "We do this right, she won't even see it coming." I exhaled slowly. "All right, let's do it." We spent the next few hours going over everything. Every weakness Sarah had, every insecurity she tried to hide. Ethan had already done his research. He knew about the guy she cheated with, some gym bro named Ryan. But he wanted something bigger, something lasting. "She's been working for that promotion at work, right?" Ethan asked. "The one she won't shut up about?" I nodded slowly. "Yeah, she's been obsessed with it." And what would happen if her boss found out she was the kind of person who slept around behind her boyfriend's back? I frowned. Her boss is old school. He values integrity. If this gets out, he might rethink giving her more responsibility. Ethan nodded. "Good. That's a start." I felt a twinge of guilt, but the anger was still fresh, still raw. I told myself that Sarah deserved this. She had broken Ethan's heart, made a fool out of him. And now, she would know what that felt like. Ethan leaned back, satisfied. "Tomorrow, we start phase 1. And just like that, there was no turning back. The next morning, I woke up with a pit in my stomach. Maybe it was guilt, maybe it was adrenaline, I couldn't tell. But when Ethan texted me, I knew there was no backing out now. "Meet me at the coffee shop near our office. We need to set things up." I got dressed and made my way there, finding Ethan already seated in the corner, nursing a black coffee and looking more put together than he had last night. But his eyes still carried the same weight. "You ready?" he asked as I slid into the seat across from him. I nodded. "Let's do this." Ethan pulled out his laptop and turned it towards me. I did some digging. Sarah's company has a pretty strict policy on workplace conduct. If they find out about an affair, even if it's not with a coworker, it could be enough to make them reconsider her promotion. I raised an eyebrow. "How do we make sure they find out?" "Social media is a powerful tool," Ethan said with a smirk. "We just have to make sure the right people see the right things." He opened a new email draft and began typing. Anonymous tip-off. A concerned colleague who doesn't want to see someone with questionable morals get rewarded. I hesitated. This is risky. What if they figure out it was us? Ethan shook his head. They won't. I'll use a VPN, a throwaway email. We'll be ghosts. I exhaled slowly. All right, do it. He clicked send. And just like that, the first domino fell. We didn't hear anything for the next few days, but we knew something was happening when Sarah started acting weird. She was glued to her phone more than usual, her expression tense whenever she thought no one was watching. Ethan and I kept our distance, but we monitored her social media. She was trying to keep up the image of everything being fine, but cracks were starting to show. Then the bomb dropped. Sarah came home one night, slammed the door, and threw her purse onto the counter. I watched from the couch as she paced back and forth, muttering curses under her breath. What's wrong? I asked, keeping my tone casual. She shot me a glare. Someone sent an anonymous email to my boss. About me. About my personal life. I feigned surprise. What? What did it say? That I cheated on Ethan, she hissed. That I'm a liar who can't be trusted. That I don't deserve my promotion. Damn, I said, shaking my head. That's messed up. Yeah, no shit, she snapped. Now my boss is watching me like a hawk, and I don't know who the hell would do this. I shrugged. Guess you pissed off the wrong person. She groaned in frustration and stormed off to her room. I waited until I heard the door slam before glancing at Ethan's text on my phone. Phase 1 complete. Ready for Phase 2? I smirked and typed back. Let's finish this. The moment Phase 1 was complete, I knew there was no turning back. Ethan and I had already crossed the line, and now we were diving headfirst into something even darker. Phase 2 wasn't just about shaking Sarah's professional world. It was about hitting her where it hurt the most, and Ethan had a plan that would do exactly that. Sarah had a reputation, not just at work but socially. She thrived on her image, on the carefully curated persona she had built over the years. She was the girl everyone envied, the one with the picture-perfect relationship, the high-paying job on the horizon, the one who always seemed to have it all together. But that was about to change. Ethan and I met up again the day after Sarah's meltdown. We chose a secluded park bench in a quiet corner of the city, far away from prying eyes. He pulled out his phone and scrolled through a series of screenshots. I've been doing some digging, he said, passing the phone to me. I frowned as I scanned through the images. They were texts, messages between Sarah and Ryan, the guy she had cheated with. Explicit, undeniable proof of her infidelity. Where the hell did you get these? I asked, glancing up at him. Ethan smirked. Sarah isn't as careful as she thinks she is. She left her old iPad at my place, still logged into her iCloud. Everything synced automatically. I let out a low whistle. Damn, she really screwed herself over. She did, Ethan agreed. And now, we're going to make sure everyone knows it. I hesitated. Ethan, are we sure about this? Ruining her shot at a promotion was one thing, but this is personal. This is humiliating. He narrowed his eyes. And what she did to me wasn't. I exhaled slowly. All right, how do we do this? He leaned forward, his voice dropping to a whisper. We make it viral. The plan was simple but brutal. Ethan created a fake Instagram account, one that looked like it belonged to an anonymous expose page. He posted the screenshots, blurring out Ryan's number but leaving Sarah's messages completely visible. Then, he crafted the caption, "When you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Some people aren't as loyal as they pretend to be." Hashtag exposed. Within minutes, the post was live. Within hours, it had thousands of views. People love drama, and when they saw a scandal unfolding in real time, they couldn't resist sharing it. By the next morning, Sarah's phone was blowing up. I woke up to the sound of her screaming. What the hell? I walked into the living room to find her pacing furiously, phone clutched in her white-knuckled grip. Her face was pale, her eyes wild with panic. What's wrong? I asked, playing dumb. She spun around to face me. Someone leaked my texts. Someone posted my private messages online. I feigned shock. Seriously? That's messed up. No shit, it's messed up, she snapped. People from work have seen it. My boss has seen it. Ethan's friends, my friends, everyone is talking about it. I crossed my arms. Well, maybe you shouldn't have sent those messages in the first place. Her face twisted with anger. Are you kidding me right now? You think I deserve this? I shrugged. I think actions have consequences. She stared at me, realization dawning in her expression. You know something? I raised an eyebrow. What are you talking about? You, she hissed. You and Ethan. You did this. I know you did. I gave her a slow, measured look. Prove it. Her hands clenched into fists at her sides, but she had nothing. No proof, no way to pin it on us. All she had was her guilt and her paranoia eating her alive from the inside out. And that was exactly what we wanted. The fallout was worse than even we had anticipated. Sarah didn't just lose her promotion, she lost her job entirely. The company didn't fire her directly over the scandal, but they made it clear that her unprofessional conduct was a problem. She resigned a week later, her reputation in shambles. Socially, it was even worse. Ryan ghosted her the second things went public, wanting no part of the mess. Friends distanced themselves. The people who once envied her now whispered behind her back. And Ethan? He was finally smiling again. We met up one last time at the same coffee shop where this all started. He looked lighter, free in a way I hadn't seen in years. She got what she deserved, he said, stirring his coffee. I can finally move on. I nodded. Yeah, me too. We sat in silence for a moment. Then he looked at me. You ever think we went too far? I considered it. Maybe. But then I remember how she looked at you when you caught her. Like you didn't matter. Like what she did to you wasn't even worth an apology. He exhaled, nodding slowly. Yeah, you're right. We clinked our coffee cups together in a silent toast. The war was over. And Sarah? Sarah was nothing but collateral damage.